man is back.
Oh, my gosh, the red got messed up. This is a 5 out of freaking 5.
It is beat making time.
Next week is E3 week. My album comes out next week.
I have delivered.
This is your boy.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen of the YouTube citizens, y'all know who this is. This is your boy True Inferno. Back at it with another Call of Duty Modern Warfare gameplay for you guys. Now, this is the very last video from your boy. Wait, no, I take that back. So actually, let me try that again actually. This is the very last video that I recorded for you guys in 2019. However, this video will drop on New Year's Day 2020. So this will be the very first video on this channel anyway that I released for 2020, for the new decade. So what we're gonna look at is, speaking of decades, the top 10 movies from the last decade. I'm not gonna do video games because as the years went on, I kind of like strayed away from playing video games because, you know, real life and adulting and stuff like that in my other channel. But you get the point. So I'm gonna just do movies because I have seen a lot of movies this past decade, and looking back on it, I'm like, oh wow, that came out this decade, that came out this decade, and stuff like that. So let's not waste any time. Let's get on to number 10, Incredibles 2. So this was the movie that I've been waiting for a long time after the first Incredibles, which is actually one of my top 5 best movies ever. So for the Incredibles 2 to drop, I was really excited and I was really happy for it to drop. But, you know, once I saw the movie, it was great. It was amazing, but part 1 was better. I like part 1 more than part 2. So this joint came out in the US, really, in Los Angeles first, June the 15th, 2018. And then it came out in the US 10 days later, June the 15th. So in case you don't remember the plot, or you didn't see my video where I talk about, you know, what these movies were about 2018, I will let you know what happened. So basically, following immediately after the events of the first movie, so you know, they had the Underminer. So they had the battle against the Underminer. They stopped him, but they kind of messed up the city, and people were now frowning upon heroes again. So what happened was they moved again to a new place, and this time, instead of Mr. Credible being in the spotlight, it was actually his wife, Elastigirl, who was in the spotlight. So this one company hit her up like, yo, we want to create a new image for heroes, and instead of going with Mr. Credible, we want to go with her. And then there was a new villain that was out in the loose and things of that nature. Meanwhile, Mr. Credible would try to be like a not work for him, but try to be like a pretty good father. So he had issues with Violet because he got her love interest. You know, he lost his memory. So Violet had to get that not memory back, but work that relationship back again. And then, of course, you got the likes of Jet Jet. They discovered Jet Jet now has superpowers, and Flash having problems with math. But yeah, it was still a great movie. You know, I liked it a lot, obviously. Again, it's not better than part 1, which is, again, one of my all-time favorites, one of my top 5 favorite movies. But this was one of the 10 best movies of this past decade. Actually, it was number 10. Now, let's move on to number 9, Power Rangers. So Power Rangers came out at the Regency Village Theater on March 22nd, 2017, and then it came out throughout the US 2 days later. So basically, it was retelling the story of the original Power Rangers. So, and of course, little known fact about me, I am a big-time Power Ranger fan. So obviously, I had to go and watch this movie. So in case you don't know, in case you haven't seen the original Power Rangers show or you missed this movie, basically, Widow Repulsor came back and basically tried to take over Earth, rather. So Zordon picked 5 teenagers with attitude to become Power Rangers. And they basically go out and deal with Rita's villains and dealt with Rita herself and basically saved the day. And it was pretty interesting because in the original Power Ranger show, first of all, check this out. So outside from the Red Ranger, who was always Caucasian and always the more heroic looking dude, that was to some degree, well, really, that was really the case here. But aside from that, on the original show, the Black Ranger was black, the Yellow Ranger was Asian, and the Blue Ranger was the nerd, and the Pink Ranger was the, what do we call them? Like like similar to that cheerleader type of girl, something along those lines. Well, it was slightly different in this movie. So the Black Ranger was, I think he was Asian or, yeah, Asian in some way, shape, or form. The Blue Ranger was a black, but he still was a nerd. So it was a combination of a black guy who was a nerd as well. The Yellow Ranger was like a loner. That's the vibe I got from it. But the Pink Ranger still remained that peppy, you know, cheerleader type. So, yeah, there you go with that. So they changed, you know, some of the things around. And I liked it. I really, really liked it. I'm not saying, oh, Power Ranger was racist with the whole Black Ranger's black and Yellow Ranger. No, I'm not saying that. Because it's too big of a show. It's too much of a classic for me to hate on it like that. But I really like this change right here. I really liked it. And it was really cool. It was really, really cool. All right, let's move on to number 8. Kick-Ass. So Kick-Ass, if you can believe it or not, came out March the 26th, 2010 in the United Kingdom. And then it came out April the 16th, 2010 in the United States. So here's the deal. So basically you got this dude named Dave who was an ordinary teenager who was inspired by comic books and he wanted to be a real life superhero. So he, you know, he got his outfit rather, and came up with the persona known as Kick-Ass. Now there were other superheroes out there like Hit Girl and Big Daddy and stuff like that, and they were literally fighting crime. And some of these heroes actually died. Like for example, Big Daddy died. For example, I think he was beaten to death. But either way, Kick-Ass and Hit Girl, they saved the day and things of that nature. So that's pretty much it with that. Like I said, great movie, and obviously there was Kick-Ass 2. I like Kick-Ass 1 better than 2, even though Kick-Ass 2 was a great movie, a really great movie. But I still like Kick-Ass 1 better than 2. So, again, if you haven't seen Kick-Ass, I don't know what you're thinking. You should see it. I'm trying to say, I want to believe that I have it on Blu-ray or on DVD at least, like actual physical copy, but I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, this was a really great movie. I have no problem rewatching really both of them, to be honest, but more so Kick-Ass than Kick-Ass 2. All right, so that was number 8. So we're going to move on to number 7. Sherlock Holmes, A Game of Shadows. All right, so here's the thing about this one. So this is, now, if you probably wonder, wait a minute, which Sherlock Holmes is this? Because there's been quite a few over the years, whether it's this year, not this year, but like this decade, the previous decade, things of that nature. So this the one that started, what's his name? I believe Robert Downey Jr. was the main character. Yeah, he is. Yeah, he was the main character. So he was Sherlock. So yeah, those Sherlock Holmes films, they were really, really good. So I really, really like those. And I really like this one as well. Unfortunately, like the first Sherlock Holmes movie came out in 2009. So obviously it did not make this decade. But this one did, obviously. And it was a great movie. So this joint came out December 16, 2011. And basically, I don't remember everything about it in terms of the plot, but basically Sherlock and Watson go out and they try to solve this one mystery, and I think they was in another country, remember serves me correctly, but yeah, like Russia or something along those lines. But yeah, and actually Sherlock apparently died, but in actuality I believe he was actually alive, but just like it basically, think of that one Batman movie, I forgot which one it was, where everybody thought Batman died, but in actuality he did. Think along those lines. So yeah, but yeah, this was a great movie. In terms of which one I like better, this one or the first one, I thought there was 3 of them, to be honest, but apparently I think there was only just 2. But yeah, I really like this one as well. So it's hard to pick which one I like, but I thought there was 3 of them, but apparently there was only just 2. But again, I really like this movie, and yeah, there you go with that. All right, so let's move on to the next movie on the list. Some of you may look at this one and go, what the heck? But I don't care. Let's get on with it. Number 6. Avengers Endgame. Alright, so not only is this number 6 on the list, this is the only Marvel movie on this list. I crap you not. This is the only Marvel movie on this list. And to me, this is the best one of them all. So, and we all know the story here. So this joint came out April 22nd, 2009. At the Los Angeles Convention Center in April 26, 2019, everywhere else. So, in the U.S., obviously. So, basically, do I have to tell the story of what happened? I don't think so. But, anywho, I'm going to do it anyway. So, basically, they picked up after Infinity War. So, obviously, a number of the heroes died in that one. And, of course, the whole snap the fingers dissolved into, whatever. So, the snap, basically. So, again, they killed Thanos after they found out where he was at. But at that point in time, he used the Infinity Gauntlet to destroy the Infinity Stones. So 5 years later, the team figured out a way to bring everybody back. They had to go back in time, get the Infinity Stones, and do the snap. But at the same time, back in time, there was Thanos looking for the stones. He found out about the plot, and he followed them to the future, or followed them to present time, and tried to take the Infinity Gauntlets and really the stones. And then it led to this big old war between all the heroes, because everybody was revived. So all the heroes came back, went against Thanos. And again, Iron Man died in this one, and what's her face? Black Widow died in this one, unfortunately. And I feel like somebody else died. Well, Nebula from 5 years ago died because Nebula the present time killed her, which is ironic. But there was that as well. Oh, no, that's Infinity War. I'm about to say Loki died, but that was Infinity War. But yeah, there you go with that. And Captain America basically is now a really old man. We got a new Captain America in the form of the Black Falcon, or Falcon rather. So yeah, again, the best Marvel movie of them all, and the only one that made the list, which is a shocker. All right, next, number 5, Kingsman: The Secret Service. So this is the one that started it all. So I've been a fan of the Kingsman series based off of this movie. So if memory serves me correctly, there were 2. Yeah, there was another sequel after this one called The Golden Circle that came out September 2017. And then they're working on a prequel that's coming out next year called The Kingsman. And I'm going to see that, obviously. But this one, at this point in time, is the best one of them all. So this joint came out December 13, 2004 at the Butt Numberthon, whatever that is. And then it came out January 29, 2015 in the UK. And then came out February 13, 2015, all throughout the US. All right, so basically what happened is this. I got to remember the story. I remember the second story to some degree, more so than this one. So basically, Secret Agent Lee sacrificed himself to protect his superior, Harry Hart. Hart blamed himself. Okay, I'm not going to read all that. So basically what happened is the main character, Eggy, joined the squad. And I believe, yeah, Hart did die in this one. Even though, what happened? Either with the sequel, he was somehow brought back to life, and so, or he never died over the case, or he was in a coma. I forgot what the scenario was. But Eggy went on and basically saved the day, basically, against the main antagonist of the movie, who was played by Samuel L. Jackson, by the way. So, yeah, that was pretty interesting. All right. But again, this was a great movie. Really like the Kingsman. Again, this is the main reason why I'm now really involved with the Kingsman's franchise. Well, the movie series, that is. I'm not saying the comic books or anything like that. But the movie series, yeah, I'm really involved with the Kingsman stuff. So, yeah, I'm going to go and watch all them, whatever movies that come out from this point going forward, I'm going to go out and watch it. So, yeah, let's move on to number 4, The Jungle Book. So this joint came out April 4th, 2016 at the El Captain Theater and came out 11 days later in the United States. So we all know the story of the Jungle Book. So obviously about the little man cub named Mowgli. Now this joint was darker. Like it was really darker because of the battle with Shao Kahn. And he was basically trying to say, oh, I'm the king of this jungle, even though he's a tiger, not a lion. But at the same time, there was no lions in this movie. But Mowgli was raised by wolves. And I think his father, quote unquote, died, if memory serves it correctly, and he had to battle Shao Kahn with the forest on fire that Mowgli accidentally started and things of that nature. This was a great movie. Like, this was the decade where Disney basically came out with those live action movies and like Beauty and the Beast, The Lion King, Aladdin, and so forth and whatnot. Again, I have not seen all of them, but to me, The Jungle Book was the best one of them all. Like, this was amazing. And keep in mind, The Lion King, the actual animated film, that one is one of my all-time favorite movies. That's actually one of my top 5 favorite movies, along with The Incredibles and the next 3 movies on this list. Yeah. So, but besides the point, The Jungle Book, to me, is the best live-action Disney movie remake based off of an animated film of all time, in my opinion. This was really phenomenal. It's got a little bit of a dark vibe to it. If you haven't seen it, I highly suggest you go watch The Jungle Book, the 2006 version, where the animated version was really cool. It's a classic. But this right here was really, really dope. All right, let's move on to number 3, Ready Player One. So this joint came out March 11, 2018 at the SXSW, wherever that is. And it came out March 29th, same year, in the United States. So apparently that SXSW, that's South by Southwest. So wherever that is. All right. So basically, it's the year 2045, and we got this virtual reality entertainment universe called the Oasis. And what happened is the co-creator of the Oasis, he died, but he left a message saying, yo, there's a golden egg within this virtual reality. If you find it, you will own this company who owns Oasis, which is the biggest company in the world. So you got this teenager who was this guy? Ray Watts, who was on Oasis all the time, and he's from Columbus, Ohio. But that's beside the point. So he's on there. He's trying to find a golden egg. So he basically, it's him and his friends and this one chick who he's really interested in. They all hook up and trying to find the golden egg. And there was this one company out there, the main antagonist of the story. I forgot what the name of this company is. They trying to find, and they're like a powerful company already, but they find a golden egg, they would be the most unstoppable company in the world. Nobody likes them. Like, real talk, nobody likes them. So what happened is there's this big battle over the golden egg, and of course, you know, the main character actually finds the golden egg, and him and the chick ends up in a relationship. Again, this is one of my top 5 favorite movies of all time. So it's this one, the Lion King animated one, obviously, and The Incredibles Part 1, obviously. I don't know where these 5 movies would be in my list, but obviously Ready Player One will be below the next 2 movies I'm about to mention from this list. So there you go with that. All right, now let's move on to number 2, Straight Outta Compton. Yo, so out of all the movies on this list, even number 1, this movie impacts me the most. I was feeling so many emotions when I saw this movie. It was like, there were some moments where I got a little bit teary-eyed. There were other moments where I was getting pissed off because not of the movie, but what was going on with the story within the movie. Like, this actually happened, and it makes me mad. So I was feeling a lot of emotions from this movie. So this joint came out August 11, 2015 at the Microsoft Theater, and it came out 3 days later throughout the U.S. So basically, they retelling the story of the original, well, not the original, of the NWA group, which stands for Niggas with Attitude. So, you know, the rap group. So they retelling the story of that going back to 1986. All the way up to basically Death Row and even the end of Death Row, because Dre was a part of that and things of that nature. So yeah, it was great. It was phenomenal. I really like this movie. Again, very impactful. One of my top 5 favorite movies of all time. It's above Ready Player One, but behind this one, the one I'm about to name in a few minutes, because I got to give you guys my honorable mentions. But I'm not going to go into each one of these movies. I'm just going to name them. So my honorable mentions will go from the bottom on up. Guardians of the Galaxy Part 1. I like this one better than Part 2. Part 2 was amazing, but I really like Part 1 more. It was mostly because of what happened in Part 2, which is why I like Part 1 more than Part. It wasn't like, oh, Part 1 did this, that makes it stand out more so than Part 2. It was more, not definite, but more along the lines of, okay, Part 2 had this in it, and I didn't like it. But it was still a great movie. It was still a phenomenal movie, but Part 1 is better in my opinion. Deadpool 2. So this was the opposite. I like Deadpool 2 so much, mostly because they got that black chick in there who was always lucky, and she was fine as heck. And they got the Juggernaut in this one as well. I like Deadpool 2 more so than Deadpool 1, but great movie nevertheless. Avengers Infinity War. So yeah, this is the one that everybody waited for outside from Endgame, obviously, because Thanos was in the joint, and we was all like, yo, who was going to die? Who was going to die? I can't wait to see who dies in this joint right here. Great movie without question. Again, Endgame made the list, my top 10, whereas Infinity War did not make my list, but it did make honorable mentions. But this was actually the 4th best Avengers movie, not Avengers, the 4th best Marvel movie that I have seen behind the Avengers. So the very first Avengers movie, I like that one as well. You know, a lot of funny moments in that one. We talking like I don't know if you could call it the original squad, because there's a bunch of different versions of the Avengers. So I really like the movie version though, and it was pretty dope, if I do say so myself. Hey, and now we got Kick-Ass 2. So yeah, again, Kick-Ass made my top 10. It was number 8 on my list, but I really like Kick-Ass 2. I really enjoyed Kick-Ass 2. I really like that joint. And again, I like the part 1 better than part 2 because, you know, it was just the story. I like the story better. And then, of course, Captain America Civil War. So, yeah, this joint right here. So, we talking members of the Avengers, members of the heroes going at it with each other. And that was pretty dope right here. So, this was, to some degree, based off the comic book. The reason why I did not make my top 10 was because basically what happened was how the heroes were fighting each other. How like a regular human being put the Avengers against each other. That made no sense to me. The main antagonist was a regular human being. So that's the only thing I did not like. I'm like, are you serious? Really? So there was that. Alright, so with all that out the way, let's move on to number 1. Scott Pilgrim versus the World. Alright, so this joint came out July 27, 2010 and at the Fantasia Festival. And it came out throughout the US August the 13th, the same year. Came out in the United Kingdom 12 days later, August 25th. And then it came out in Japan, April 29, 2011. So, here, and I got this on Blu-ray as well. I got this on Blu-ray. I got this one straight out of Compton and Ready Player One. So, all I need is The Lion King and The Incredibles. And I will have my top 5 favorite movies on Blu-ray/DVD. So, here's the deal with this movie. So, basically, Scott Pilgrim was going out with this one girl named Knives. But then, he met this American Amazon delivery girl named Ramona. So we all know who Ramona is. But anywho, he ended up like because he tried to hook up with Ramona, he now have to deal with her exes. And there was she have a bunch of exes. So he literally had to fight her exes rather to win her heart. That's basically what happened. And he did, and he was successful, and he won her heart at the end. And I believe oh, I thought they got engaged, but no, they didn't get engaged. This was a great movie. A great movie, pretty hilarious, action-packed. It was phenomenal. I really love this movie. So, out of my top 5 favorite movies, this could be number 1. It's between, really, now that I think about it, it would be between this, the original, the animated Disney Lion King, and maybe The Incredibles, part 1. I would have to look and see what is my all-time favorite movie. But this is the leading go-getter right here. Again, it came out in this past decade, or soon to be past decade as I'm recording this. Really enjoyed this movie. Scott Pilgrim vs. the World to me is the best movie of this decade. And arguably the best movie I ever seen. So, that's it for this video. I'm going to call it a wrap. So what's going to happen is, next week, we are going to look at my anticipated video games of the year and my anticipated movies of the year. So that would be 2 weeks from the release of this joint. So I'm gonna call it a wrap. And as you probably seen all throughout this video, I gave you guys my NFL predictions as the playoffs are starting this weekend. So with that said, y'all know who this is. This boy News J Gatsby, aka News TV Smith, saying peace out, y'all, and I'll see y'all next time. Yeah.